HD3 Lincoln. Live from Lincoln and broadcasting across the state of Nebraska, it's the Average Joe Sports Show. This is the place for Husker sports with the biggest names, the best interviews, and all the inside scoops.
I got a front row seat with a big tub of buttered popcorn and a greasy half-live chicken leg.
Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Welcome to it. Back at it one final time in 2025. It is the Average Joe Sports Show. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, Bill Doleman, Mark Kraynak coming along shortly as we get ready for Nebraska, Utah, Allegiant Stadium. It is the Las Vegas Bowl and a lot to get into. We'll check in with the Iron Horse, Gary Sharp, coming up here in about 15 minutes. Brandon Vogel before we're done, and a special guest checking in from Las Vegas. Numbers to get in, 489-1240, 489-1240, 800-825-5865. This is different, man, going at high noon. And dusty old West, if you are a fan of Casino like I am, I always think of the scene with Pesci and De Niro out in the desert, a world record number of F-bombs spewed out by Joe Pesci's character in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. I don't anticipate a record being set by Nebraska fans, but who knows? As Vegas says, 14 points is the number. Lot to get into. We'll always take your comments and thoughts. We'll get our shout-outs going with the starting five in the stream. Can always like and subscribe to the Average Joe Sports Show on YouTube. Typically 7 days a week. We've been on a bit of a hiatus. Want to thank Greg and Rob and the crew here at the station at KFOR for getting us back on air. There's been the mother of all technical catastrophes. Dudes working hard to get us back up and running. So thank them for that, for sure. Find on YouTube, find on the YouTube channel for sure, but also on Twitter where you can find AJ Sports Radio, KFOR Facebook where you can watch the video as well and hear us as always on KFOR 1015, 1240 AM. So we are set and ready to go for Nebraska and Nevada. The site with Utah.
There it is.
With Utah, I was getting to it. Was getting there with Utah ready to go. But Elijah, first and foremost, let's talk vibe and expectations. We go back to so many games at the start of the season down in Arrowhead from the Joe Mama RV kicking the season off. And then you fast forward to that next hurdle, Michigan. And then there was Minnesota, there was USC, and the tone and feel right now is Nebraska's made changes. You're on the verge and eve of portal season, unfulfilled, unmet expectations. It's not that you didn't get to 8. You have a chance of doing that today if you're Nebraska football. It's not that you didn't get to 9 or 10. It's kind of the way you lost some of these games. Aside from Michigan and aside from USC, you got beat up. You got pummeled by Minnesota. You got beat up and pummeled by Penn State. Also, the case in Iowa in front of your home crowd. And can you change that conversation a little bit? There's a lot to deal with in 2026 with the schedule, with what your roster is going to look like, who you can keep, who you have to add, who you can develop during the spring. All that's well and good, but you can change that conversation today if you're Nebraska. It doesn't make the season feel all better if you get a win against Utah, but it does make the season feel a little bit more stomachable, so to speak, if you can go play well. I don't think they'll beat Utah today. I think Nebraska's job today is to go match physicality. I'm not Mr. Ribbon guy either, as the Pride of Fairbury has checked in Bill Doleman, but Nebraska needs to look and play different, fellas, than they have in much of November this year.
Listen, and you look at the line in Vegas, probably about right, looking at about 14 points, but I wouldn't be surprised no matter how this game goes. Utah, they have the question mark. How do they respond after their head coach decides, you know what? No, I don't want to coach you guys one more time. I want to go off to Michigan. Good for Kyle Whittingham, good for Michigan. That seems like a very, very good match. But you were expecting as a Utah player today, hey, it's the final game of Whittingham at Utah. We're going to go play for him. He's going to be on the sidelines. Well, no, that did all change whenever he decided to go off to Michigan, and now your head coach isn't going to be on your sidelines. To flip it around, for Nebraska, you've had some coaching changes over the last couple weeks. You've had a couple weeks just to get away from that sinking feeling that you had really post USC, where starting quarterback goes down. You're looking at teams at the end of the season that their strengths match up with your weaknesses, and there was a lot of give up factor against Penn State and against Iowa. How does a couple weeks change that for you? We'll find out. I'd like to believe that Nebraska plays well today. If they don't, it is not a disaster in my eyes, because this isn't your 2025 roster. It's not your 2026 roster. Would you like to see them play well? Yes, absolutely. If they don't, am I going to put a fork in the program? No, I'm not. That's life. That's the reality of bowl games right now whenever you're not playing with your 2025 team. So that's how I look at it today. I'd like to think Nebraska can play well, but really there's no outcome today that would truthfully surprise me.
Bill, some good news today, right? The vibe, the expectation for you, partner, with this Nebraska team, you get a win, you play well, you see some things from your quarterback, TJ Lateef, all those things. You need something positive for Nebraska football right now.
Well, look, first of all, I'd like to welcome the University of Michigan to the Average Joe Sports Show listening audience. I'm waiting for the thank you gift from the University of Nebraska football program, because as you'll recall, and I know you will, the day or so after the Sharon Moore mess all went down at the University of Michigan, who went on the air first before anybody else on the planet saying the University of Michigan should hire Kyle Whittingham to put an adult in charge of their football program and perhaps have an influence over their entire athletic program? It was your guest at 5:00 that Friday. Sure.
Who's probably been invited to go ride Harleys with him, but you're not a leather guy.
Yeah, and
he's also riding Harleys with Bobby Petrino.
He's also a great tennis player. But look, when I made the suggestion that Michigan hire Kyle Whittingham, I'm sure that people around the globe laughed at me, but I knew what Michigan needed. And somehow it got to the University of Michigan that dude is right. That's what we need to go do. So let's go do it. And in one of the dominoes that then falls, because I'm so far ahead of the curve, is that it has an impact on how Utah's bowl preparations go and what their mindset's going to be. I'm stunned that they didn't allow him to coach one more game at Utah. I'm stunned, really, to be honest with you.
He wanted to. He was hurt.
Look, they pushed him out the door and have been doing so for over a year, as you come to find out. I don't know what money is talking out in Utah, but to kick Kyle Whittingham to the curb the way they have, and he's felt that way for over a year now, as you find out, it would be akin to powers that be telling Tom Osborne, you got to go. We want to go in a different direction. That's how significant Kyle Whittingham is to Utah football. I know Urban Meyer was there before, and I know Ron McBride, built that program up and kind of had it as a, 500 or better program for many, many years. But Kyle Whittingham should have his name on the field at the University of Utah, and instead they kicked it, took his name off the door and said, we don't want you around anymore. And oh, by the way, if you're going to take the Michigan job, we're not even going to ceremonially let you coach your final game. I'm sure Michigan said, we need you here right now. But for that guy, for all he has done for that program, to be treated the way he has is shameful by the University of Utah. And I would imagine that it will have some type of an emotional impact on Utah. That whole thing about going 1-1 for Witt. And I don't think people fully realized how he had been treated. I don't think the players had fully realized how he'd been treated. And then when he got the Michigan job, they said, no, you're not even going to be on the sidelines for this game. That stunned me. And I do think that'll have somewhat of an impact on there, because he has been such a steel rod in that program for 21 years. And I know there are players that have opted out since then for Utah. I don't know if they're playing. Nebraska's letting their transfer portal guys play. I don't know if Utah is doing that, but I think it's shameful, and I think it does have whatever emotional wave Utah was going to be able to ride in this game, that's gone. Okay, so whether that has an impact on Vegas still thinking it's a 2-score game, in which look, Vegas knows something. But that emotional element, winning one for Witt, that's no longer on the table, and that was probably the biggest trump card they had.
Well, to change this conversation just slightly, and it's something that is not related to the game necessarily, but we didn't have a show on Sunday as we had maybe hoped. It does kind of speak to, look at the fact that you've had a lot of coaching changes across the country this year. Look at the hires that were made in the Big Ten this season. I think all three schools, Michigan State, Michigan, Penn State, they knocked it out of the park. Michigan State,
they all upgraded.
It's a quiet upgrade, but folks who watch the Big Ten know just how good Fitzgerald is as a college football coach and what he could do with that Michigan State program. Penn State stumbled drunkenly backwards into what I thought at the time was the best coaching hire, going and getting Campbell from Iowa State. What a great hire for them. And then you look at Michigan, which, as Bill said, they needed an adult in the room, and they needed a guy that kind of embodies that Michigan ethos that was built under Harbaugh. They found that a perfect fit. It is round peg, round hole for Michigan going and getting Kyle Whittingham. Not only is the guy mature, not only is he not going to be fooling around with women on the side, he's a guy that's going to run the damn ball, build the lines of scrimmage, and continue on with Harbaugh's legacy as maybe Sharon Moore couldn't have. What great hires for the Big Ten. And I think the great level of coaching in the Big Ten has been exemplified in the bowl games we've seen this year, except USC. We'll put them to the side. They're still a West Coast school, but look at just how well the Big Ten has done in bowl games, and it comes down to coaching. The Big Ten is the best coaches in the country. Well,
and it just got harder to be better than 10th next year if you're Nebraska, because of what is in East Lansing, what got hired as the offensive coordinator at Northwestern and Chip Kelly. And you've got Harley going to Michigan. We bring in the Iron Horse. We welcome in Gary Sharp as we're doing the midday edition, pre-Nebraska, Utah.
Let's
Sharp,
go.
You find your way to the casino yet and let it ride, as Richard Dreyfuss once said in that classic?
You know what? This is, I don't know what's going to happen today. That's why the title down below says a day to enjoy ball with no pain. You know what? Bowl games are fun. Bowl games are fun. Go there, have a good time, and then get out and realize that you'll forget about whatever happens today on Friday when the portal opens up. So if you go in it with you know what, no pain, just going to watch, because we only get, 12, 13, 14 of these a year. Just watch it and don't make any sweeping generalizations. And if Nebraska wins, they win. If they lose, they lose. But Friday will be here before you know it.
Friday is going to be huge for Nebraska and everybody else in college football. The here and now, from a vibe and expectations today, your expectation is no pain. Just go enjoy. I like it. But I think there are some things that, as I watch, me and the rest of the world are interested to see TJ Lateef in a dome where the settings are controlled, right? He's performed well when it's been warm, and I'm not saying he can't be a good cold weather quarterback, but there's some auditions, and there's a bigger body of work that started with the last half of the third quarter for TJ Lateef against USC, and you saw him try and be gutty against Iowa, and now you have kind of the final exam here, at least for this freshman season. I think there's a lot of talent with him. I'm excited to see what he can do today, but beyond. Obviously, keep him in the quarterback room and get him some competition. I really want to see what he looks like against a defense that's been vulnerable this season. They've been great on third down, but they've been vulnerable. And Nebraska, if they were full strength, you'd feel good about. They're not. Yeah. So many question marks today with how Nebraska can score points.
Yeah, I'm a guy that, so this is what college football has become with the quarterback. It is Georgia versus Ole Miss. Look at tomorrow night. Georgia will have a quarterback that they are developing starting at quarterback. Ole Miss will have a guy they went and got from Division II that is their starting quarterback. So it's what is your plan moving forward with quarterbacks in this day and age of college football? Do you follow the route to develop your own, or do you always go into the transfer portal? Now, ideally, you would mix both together. I'm into developing Latif. I think I've seen enough for a guy that was not supposed to be in this situation that there's something there to work with. But I think Nebraska will go and get 2 quarterbacks, and there will be a good competition coming up in the spring. But this is where Latif, because he's working with kind of a new idea on offense of what they're going to do, he's running with the ones. He is the guy. He's got a leg up. He's got a month here of showing off because, during the practices, which are probably more important than the actual game for Nebraska. I know the result, you don't get, a win or loss in a practice. I'm excited to see him because he doesn't have Emmett. He doesn't have Spindler. He may not have one of his top wide receivers today. So he's going to have to manage, and I think they're going to have to manage him. And we'll see what Holgerson has done. But this is an important thing. I think Latif needs some help today. I think wide receivers got to win one-on-one battles. I think Utah will be very physical at the line of scrimmage, and they got to give him some time. But also, I think we're going to start to see the semblance, guys, of what the offense is going to look like next year, whether it's Latif at quarterback, Minchie at quarterback, whoever is going to be a quarterback, that you're going to have that element of RPO. And I think if, depending on how Latif's wheel is, we'll see how much they turn him loose. But I think you'll get a little insight into what they want to do offensively next year. And maybe they run some counters today. Maybe they say to the offensive line, hey, you're a lot more athletic than we've shown. We're going to do something different. And they run a little bit more counters. I also think Mosey will play well today. I like Mosey and Nelson, but I like Mosey in particular.
Well, the question in my eyes, can they install the triple option in just 4 weeks?
Bill is nodding his head. Do it now. Do it often.
Speaking of that, doesn't this just seem like it's been spring football compacted? You know, that there's so many new guys that are already, I shouldn't say new names because they're guys who've been around, but so-and-so is going to opt out. So that's going to give Mosey and Nelson, and we heard him say, Williams is going to get an opportunity perhaps in the backfield. And all of these guys are like, well, we're going to see what this person can do at this position. Rhett is getting a ton of run. Granted, he's a Vegas guy, but so-and-so is not going to play, so this guy's going to step up. And the more I've listened to press conferences this week, the only thing missing is Boyd Epley's Husker Power Index numbers that nobody understood but thought they did. But this just seems like this is spring football for Nebraska with a game. I have no idea what Nebraska is going to do in March and April with spring football, and if they are going to have a game or if they're going to go back to the rodeo again. But this seems like what we would expect to hear in press conferences, post-practice, all of that you always hear during spring ball. Well, so-and-so did some good things, like what this person did. This person had a great practice today. We might see quarterbacks play today who won't even be around after Friday. Look, Nebraska has maximized 2 consecutive bowl appearances. Last year was great with the Pinstripe Bowl. They went out, they got a win, they capped the season, they got the extra practices and a feel-good season for Matt Rule. Whether Nebraska wins or not today, I don't know. I've done all I can with the Whittingham situation. But for the number of people I think that we will see play today, get snaps, running back by committee, all of that stuff, I just think we're watching spring football. And Nebraska hopes they win, but in the meantime, they've had a decent time out in Las Vegas.
And let me ask you guys the question. Maybe we can go around the room here because I saw some reaction in the stream chat to what Gary had to say about you can watch a game today without being emotionally invested, and people are upset thinking, there's way too much money spent on this program for every game to not be important. There's way too much pressure on Rule with how much money he's making for this game to not be important. And we've talked a lot heading into bowl season. Well, man, do the bowl games really matter to the players anymore? I don't know. What is the level of how much does this matter? Because, hey, the college football world, that Illinois and Tennessee game mattered last night. Mm-hmm. To the Big 12 country, that TCU and USC game mattered last night. How much does this game realistically matter in your eyes? There's 3 different.
Just really depends on where you're programmed.
I think so.
Does it matter to the program, to Rule, to the fan base, to the players? There's so many different areas of how much does it matter?
If Nebraska wins today, and especially being an underdog and some of the things they're up against, oh my God, what happened to Mark's hair?
Looks good.
It's it's like, okay,
easier maintenance.
They were able to, in the last month, with new coaches coming in, coaches leaving, some key guys not being available today, to manage all of that. But is today going to erase what happened in State College or at Memorial Stadium on Black Friday? Isn't that going to linger longer in your memory before you get to 26 than what happens today? Now, if you're a team like last year, Nebraska going to that bowl game was a big deal. Okay. They were a young team. They hadn't been there in 9 years, and they got there. They got to the bowl game. Okay. But that was a celebration. To me, bowl games nowadays are a closure on your 25, not a beginning of your 26. Now, if Nebraska is extremely young and there are no seniors and there's no opt-outs and everybody is coming back, yeah, this could mean something in that scope. But I think today is to go play, okay, see what you have, because let's also be honest. When you get to Friday, and there are guys that may contribute to a win or a loss today that are not here on Friday because they're in the portal, I mean, you're mixed. That's what, if you had to get one word, and I know I'm going a little long here on what you asked, Elijah. Conflicting is what 25 is, okay? We can see progress, but there's going to be a couple of things that linger before they play a game where they turn on the scoreboard again, and it's not an exhibition like today is, okay? Or whatever the spring is going to be. Now, they've addressed that. Energy, physicality, okay. 2026 will be here before you know it. So that's why I say, just enjoy this game. I mean, if Nebraska loses, are you going to run Rule out of town? If Nebraska wins, are you going to say, hey, add another year to Rule? You know what? It's another football game. We get to enjoy it. And when it's over, you're on to the next thing. Go have fun, get there, get home. Portal opens on Friday.
Well said. And I think the evidence you can use to support that, does it matter to 2025 and the 2025 season? Yes. Does it matter to the long-term health of the program? I'd argue no, because 6 of the 8 teams that played in the first round of the college football playoff this season lost their bowl game last year. A couple of them lost in pretty ugly fashion. In terms of what 26 is, does this bowl game matter? No. In terms of putting a bow on 2025, as you said, Gary, some finality, does it matter? Yes, absolutely. It's a way to leave a good taste in the mouths of the fans. It's a way to give some hope to the players moving forward. But the 2026 season doesn't hinge on today. It hinges on what you do between January 2nd and January 16th.
And I think, let me insert one quick thing. I think it also has to do with, and you know, and I'm one of the older guys on the panel. When bowl games and what happened in that bowl game, and granted, Nebraska was playing, those games meant the world. I mean, they meant a nice shiny trophy for the most part. The bowl games had a bigger meaning because you weren't going to have your roster decimated. Okay. That basically your guys, except for the guys that were out of eligibility, everybody was coming back. And so I think if you look at bowl games now, it depends on, you know, the playoff is separate, but if you're looking at bowl games, I think it depends on, you know, where you grew up, you know, where bowl games were like a big deal. You went and bought a t-shirt. It was a big deal to go to a bowl game. It still is a big deal to go to a bowl game, but the result doesn't linger as long as it did in the past. Because I remember even some of those losses in non-national championship bowl games. I mean, you'd stew about that for another month. Guys, let's be honest. We're all going to get together on Saturday morning and Sunday morning, and we're going to be on to the next thing. Okay?
We're talking portal and Husker basketball.
Kraynak, where'd you get the sweatshirt?
For Christmas. That was a gift from
Santa found you on the nice list, huh?
Gift from the
Sweatshirt and the
children's.
haircut.
Yeah, got the haircut not for Christmas. That was just to do. It's so much easier. By the way. It's so much easier. Nah, I'm not doing that.
Kraynak got a black shirt.
Yeah.
Kraynak's heading off to East Lansing.
I know. That's what I'm trying to do. No, I'm just trying to save time on showers. You know, it's a lot easier.
Smart.
Save time on product.
Frugal.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, that's the way you do it.
Hey, speaking of black shirts, how do we feel? And this is where you're going to kick yourself for letting this linger in 25. Riley Van Poppel and Rex Guthrie have black shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Two guys who
button pushing. I
yeah,
don't know.
2 guys that we went through the roller coaster this year going, okay. I mean, it just seems like we're talking about 25 to 26 is they've already started 26. Okay. You know, like once they got to December and they cleaned house and they They ramped up the energy. All of a sudden, some guys responded. That's the biggest thing that I'll look for today. They've talked all month about energy, to have energy on both sides of the ball, because I think they'll take some chances today. I think they'll let it rip and go and have fun. We'll see if it gets them in trouble or if it is a bonus. But if they don't play with energy today, then you'll be like, okay, what is this BS that's being spewed? Because I do think that'll be apparent right away.
Well, that's a good point. Where today it's not necessarily about the result; it is about how it looks.
Yeah, and listen, who gets a black shirt and why and how has been, but it's a lot easier when your defense doesn't suck. Let's just call it that, right? I mean, when everything's going fine and you're holding everybody to 10 points or less, then it's just like whatever. But when you're not a defense like that, but you still got this black shirt tradition to uphold, I don't know what you do. You know, do you not give them to everybody, and then it just becomes this weird thing?
You yank them away if you've given up 5 games of 200 yards of rushing or more.
Yeah, right? I just think that's interesting during bowl practice to award 2 black shirts.
Yeah,
it prevents the portal for a couple of days.
It could be a motivational tactic for all we know.
Absolutely, what it's got to be.
Well, yeah. Riley Van Poppel will be used properly in 2026. Riley Van Poppel will look much different.
Yeah.
He played a position this year that is not conducive to his skill set, and he paid for it. And I think when Rule takes over the defensive line and they say, okay, we're going to run a 4-2-5 in the bowl game, and you're going back to a more pass rushing defensive tackle spot, it's your time to shine. And I think you're going to see Riley Van Poppel be different. I mean, he was swimming in, guys. He wasn't very good. And we were all like, what the hell is going on?
He was getting washed out.
Yeah. And now they're going to put, now you're going to have a DC that's going to put guys in the best position to succeed.
Yeah. Well, listen, and we can point blame. It all goes back to Rule ultimately, because he's the one who made these hires and all that. But I think we can all sit here on this call and in the stream and understand that they underperformed as a defense. The raw material that is on the campus, that is on the team, is and should be way better than how they performed. Call that scheme, blame it on John Butler, blame it on the D-line coach that was here for 6 months, and then let Terry Braden and then leaves, right? Blame it on Rule hiring these people to begin with. You can blame it all you want, but I think the thing that maybe keeps us coming back is you look at Keona Davis, you look at Williams, Nwaneri, you look at how Van Poppel played a couple years ago, and you're like, dude, they shouldn't be this bad. They just shouldn't. So you can get mad at Rule for putting them in that position, and that's fair. But at least he's not doubling down, which we have seen coaches in the past do in these situations when they're reaching this kind of point where, hey man, you're starting to get to put up or shut up time, right? Year 3, come on now. This is where things have to kind of go in a certain direction. Right now, it still feels like Nebraska's at the fork in the road. You still don't, you're not totally confident that everything's on the right path, but you're also they're not a total disaster either. They're just
not 3-9, 4-8 bad anymore.
Yeah, they're not that, but but we didn't have the Matt Rule year 3 that you expect at the same time, right? So they're in this weird middling spot, and if you're Rule at that point, you can double down and say, nope, we're ride or die. I'm sticking with my guys. These are the guys. Or you can be like, these dudes ain't getting it done. I got to change something up.
Well, there's going to be a lot of attention on the defensive line today because you've got rid of Braden, and now we have either Gary or Coach Sharp. We've got Matt. We've heard all about Matt, and Matt continues to wear his hat on backwards at press conferences and whatnot. And this is his position. So he made a change, and now he's gotten into apparently the mud and the muck with the new defensive coordinators. Nobody really knows what his role is going to be today. From listening to Phil Snow, what was it yesterday? Didn't even know if he's going to be around for the game, but he's been involved. But the D-line has been all about Matt and Phil as the interim defensive coordinator. And now we know Dave Tollefson apparently is coming in from Gretna to help out, wearing jeans and work boots.
Great dude, by the way. Great dude. That was but it shows you, don't you guys, Bill, don't you guys think? So, kind of what Rule did at the end of the season is a tell. He messed up. He made some bad moves. And instead of being stubborn, doubling down, he said, we've got to change what ailed us. Because next year becomes, you got to win. We got a standard. You got to win games that matter. Okay, it's great that you have good character guys stay in the program. You represent the program well. But at some point, Nebraska has to win games that matter. And he kind of did a tell of, I messed up. Okay, kumbaya. I get to punch in my one get out of jail free card as we go into year 4. And I've had this change on my staff. This is my staff moving forward. And this is how you'll judge the, into year 4 and beyond, he's got that. They've got. So it's a tell of what he did this year. But I think like today and bringing in Dave Tollefson. And I'll tell you another thing, Mike Eckler being involved in a position group on defense is huge. And I know that he does such a great job on special teams. Your job is to win football games, and people that you employ, if they can give you the best opportunity to win a football game by passing on knowledge to X spot, I think you have to do that. I know coaches get territorial, but man, you have Mike Eckler on your staff. He's not just a special teams guy. He knows defense as well. So he has helped out. But I think you're seeing Rules taking over a position group that he's familiar with, and he helped out Terrence Knighton a lot. Last year, bad on him. I think he thought that the program was turning into a turnkey. Okay, it was on smooth sailing. That's on him. He messed up. But I think it also shows you when we flip to Tuesday or to Friday, defensive line is a priority. Okay, guys that they have in the program that they think that they can get going, like a Simpson who did not play this year, a Van Poppel, a Davis, a Winery, and also what they're going to do with chasing a kid in the 26 class that is a Texas decommit, or what they're going to do in the portal. I think they have shown you defensive line is a major priority moving forward for Nebraska.
This all may sound like excuse making for Rule because other programs have figured it out. But there is so little right now that you can take to the bank with any program on any given year. There were just certain things that we used to be able to say, okay, well, you have these guys and they were sophomores and they're going to be juniors now. And, oh, you brought in this coordinator, so that means this, or, oh, you got this 5 stars. It is so transient now. And Rule just happened to show up right during the middle of the most disruptive time in college football history, period. Right? And he's not alone, right? So is everybody else. And there are certain programs that have figured it out, but year to year, come on now. I mean, look at all the crap that Michigan's going through. Look at, Ohio State's been able to sustain. Georgia's been able to sustain. Indiana's been able to rise. Oregon's been able to sustain. That's kind of it. Right? I mean, those are your 4 consistent big dogs right there. Everybody else is trying to figure this the hell out. And it's not easy to figure out. And Rule made it more difficult on himself by hiring 12-year-old wide receiver coaches. like that's fair criticism, right? He should not have done that.
Position, yep.
Who's in the playoffs?
But, right.
Yeah, he was
coaching the playoffs.
Garrett was coaching the wrong position at Nebraska. He's a good football coach. He should not have been with that group of wide receivers.
Yeah. Arizona State was in the freaking playoffs last year. Texas Tech is in the freaking playoffs this year. Indiana is the number 1 team in the damn country.
But
everything is turned upside down right now.
But Texas Tech
Nebraska is not circling the drain. They're also not at the upper echelon. It's almost like they've just kind of held serve while all the craziness is happening. And it is crazy to say, but these next 2 weeks make or break the program. Just straight up. And not just Nebraska. Makes or breaks pretty much everybody's program except for those 4 that I mentioned.
Not unless you have good coaches. Texas Tech and Indiana and Oregon, they all say, oh, they got all this money. They also got some pretty damn good coaches that either the head coach or the assistant coaches. This is about coaching. 2026, in my opinion, is all about guys that wear headsets.
And it's coaching in a different way. It's not even necessarily coaching, developing guys over 4 to 5 years or whatever. I mean, it's being able to coach an all-star team.
Yeah,
right?
It's evaluate.
Texas Tech has great chemistry, which is you get all these guys and you have all this money. Good on Joey McGuire, man. They got good chemistry at Texas Tech that has helped them with the immense amount of talent they bought, but not to have like knuckleheads. And they've just been able to roll through, and everybody is in it for the same reason, not, to get another paycheck or get paid more. I think that's another key in this whole new age of college football.
And who does Joey McGuire count as his number one mentor, and who gave him his shot? Rule, right? So if you're Rule, to some degree, you are kind of like emboldened to be like, I can bring in a guy, I can make a guy, I make guys. That's what I do. Guys come work for me, and they, so like you can understand his confidence level there. But I think, the game it's a great point, Gary. There is much more of a premium now on like the veteran, legit coaches, like the Phil Jackson types. to go back in the day for NBA, like those guys are worth billions right now of just being able to manage the chaos, the personalities, the money, all those things. It's a difficult job.
Can you be right with your evaluation?
Mm-hmm.
And then can you be right with what makes the dude tick?
Well,
You gotta have that.
It comes down to you can make or break your program in one offseason, as Mark kind of said, through a 2-week transfer portal window. It can completely change your fortunes in a good or a bad way. The two things that you have to have if you're trying to go out and change your fortunes in a good way, going through the portal window, is the right culture and the right coaches.
Yep.
That's the two things. If you have the right culture and the right coaches, look at Texas Tech, look at Indiana, even Oregon. They are often transfer portal buyers. They have the right
Ohio
coaches.
State.
They have the right coaches, the right culture. And if you bring in the right guys that fit your culture and your coaches, like from a talent evaluation point of view, you can build a college football playoff team in one offseason. But
you
flip it around. If you get the wrong guys, or if you don't have the culture, you can sink your program. You can sink your program in one offseason.
Or you got to have the money. And I saw a deal last week. I think it was either Front Office Sports or Sports Business Journal ranked the top 10 richest athletic programs. Nebraska is number 10.
Yeah.
Nebraska is in the top 10 financial situations in all of college football.
Well, and then
which is amazing.
The podcast costs.
So the money is there.
Though it's made it.
Here's the thing. There was also the estimate a couple weeks ago, and I know it's different sports, and you can't go apples to apples with basketball and football. But Husker basketball apparently is outside the top 14 in Big Ten spending and NIL.
Mm-hmm.
They're 15th.
And look what
15
they've
of
built.
18.
Look what they've built. They have the right culture. They have the right coaches. And they've made some really, really big transfer portal additions with the right evaluation.
Yeah.
And they're undefeated. First undefeated non-conference season since 1928, 1929.
Well, it goes back to culture, coaching, like you guys have touched on. Sharpie, a final thought before you got to skedaddle.
That 1928 team, though, they were
granny
shot.
They were not scared of prohibition or the paint. So
there was one guy that could do dribble with both hands back then.
and didn't get called for it. I need a prediction.
Hey, bring them back for Alumni Day.
Today is the day that Elijah Pritchett begins his campaign to be all Big Ten offensive lineman in 2026.
Okay.
Why not Heisman?
I don't want to go that far yet.
Yeah.
I mean, if Sue can't win it, I don't know an offensive lineman from Nebraska can win it. I think Jeep Wade will be the best thing that's happened to Elijah Pritchett, or he'll be the worst thing that's happened to Elijah Pritchett. But if Elijah Pritchett is in the running and he's mentioned when we get to August as being a captain, you are cooking with peanut oil with that young man, because they have identified him as one of the key stalwarts in 2026.
Yeah.
He fits the mold of potential production. Can they instead of going this way, can they cross paths and go up? So that's one of the key guys I'm looking for today on that offensive line.
Should be good. Sharpie, we'll check in on Saturday, bud. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah.
Do we need to do a timeout?
Oh yeah, we definitely need to do a timeout.
We're well overdue. Kraynak, hang tight. Pride of Fairbury's Bill Doleman, Elijah Herbel, Chris Schmidt. The midday edition, Vegas bound. Nebraska, Utah, kicking off at 2:30. More of the Average Joe Sports Show here on KFOR after this.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers,
we've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking Active Liver supplements from New Nordic every day.
Active Liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, all natural ingredients that help protect the liver so that it can protect you from toxins. It's like giving my body a daily detox. I've never felt better, and my energy is through the roof.
And my doctor is already impressed with how much better my numbers are looking. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com. Or pick some up today at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery. Are now available at Wegmans. New year, new you, new Nordic.
Another year of KFOR's Operation Santa Claus is finished, and it wouldn't have been possible without your generosity. Thanks to your support, we brought the magic of Christmas to less fortunate children in Lincoln. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our partners who work tirelessly behind the scenes to make it all happen. Local social service agencies for gathering the children's wishes. Hobbytown, Lincoln Children's Museum, and Shields for their help with toy shopping. Target, not only for assisting in shopping, but also for donating the sacks we use to organize the toys. The Clay Smith family for providing the North Pole facility to store and sort the toys. Brent Stellick of Bryant, Cott & Associates PCCPAs for managing Operation Santa finances. And most importantly, a very special thank you to the Nebraska National Guard volunteers for their incredible effort in sorting and distributing the toys. And finally, to everyone who donated, you are the true heroes of Operation Santa Claus. From all of us at KFOR, we wish you and your family a joyous holiday season.
The place you call home should always be a place of comfort. Warm and cozy in winter, cool and relaxing in summer. If your home isn't delivering the comfort you expect, call Bryant. It's more than just hot and cold to them. It's about providing the best comfort solutions. And Bryant gives you a full 24-month test drive on your home comfort system. Get full details at BryantLincoln.com or call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Start the new year with a healthy boost from Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs, Eggland's Best eggs are the perfect way to fuel your day. Make 2025 your healthiest year yet. Whether you're making a hearty breakfast or adding a protein punch to your salad, Eggland's Best is the smart choice for a better you. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, and organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
KFOR. We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Midday edition, pre-bowl version of the Average Joe Sports Show. That's Elijah Herbel, Bill Doleman, Mark Kraynak, Chris Schmidt. We'll check in shortly with Arden Lockheim. She is a student at the University of Nebraska, and she's out in Vegas, going to be doing the game on the student station, KRNU. Kraynak, remember that?
Nice. Of course I do. Not going to Vegas. The furthest we got to go was Buck Belzer.
Well, I know, and one of us about got electrocuted trying to put the Marty antenna up. Ken Harvey era.
Wait, they let you guys leave the journalism school?
Have we told? Well, they had us in Avery Hall at the time, which is where the chemistry labs were. It kind of showed how disposable we were. Right?
The best part, though, was when T.O. was getting ready to practice for the Washington trip in '97, where they had the stadium speakers so loud it forced the CD player to skip when we're trying to do our shifts. It was interesting. I did make a fib to my father once upon a time and said, "Yeah, we're going to be doing the Nebraska Notre Dame game. So can I get some money to go?" And we didn't do the game. I said, "Yeah, they shut it down, but we had a good time." He thought I was lying to him. I was like, "No, it was totally intentional to try and go do the broadcast, but got shut down." So we're going to try and run down Arden and her dad, Dave. She's on the call today, which is great. And then Brandon Vogel going to be with us at 1:30. Gary Barnett nursing laryngitis. So Coach will be with us next week. Let's get some shout-outs going. Patrick in first across the finish line with our Average Joes, our starting five. Mr. Erickson is here as well. He was hoping the game would be played in Deadwood versus Vegas. I like it. Walter, south of Philly, echoing many Nebraska thoughts. I don't want to hear any more bleeping excuses. Get it done. Mike is here. Corn Raider is in. Timster is in. The Snitley boys are here. And Brian and Jeff Snitley. Tuck is here. With
who's at the game? Anybody at the bowl? This is, I would say this is the one bowl game where I haven't heard a lot of people saying, hey, we're going to Vegas. We're going. I just haven't heard a lot of that. I'm sure there will be a lot of West Coast folks going.
Yeah, I mean, the Californians for Nebraska will absolutely there. Idahoans for Nebraska. Oregonians. Arizona. A lot of Arizona contingent. Mike is here.
Nevadans. What do you call them?
Flyer is in as well. Brian checking in. Kobe is here. Big Red Realists is here. Is Big Red Realist not a California fan? Ed Foley is not on site. He's here in the stream with us. Captain is in. Also checking in is Keaton. Good to have Keaton. Keaton says Nebraska 28-24.
And one thing that the fake Ed Foley just said there was that essentially you can't convince yourself to think Nebraska has a chance against a top 15 team today. One thing I'll say, do we believe Utah is still a top 15 team? I know the 2025 season is what it is with the talent that they had, but they lost their top two offensive linemen going into this game. They're still a great program. Don't get me wrong.
Tactics too, by the way.
That's one of the things that you have to evaluate with these bowl games is the team that you saw September through November on the football field is not the team that Utah's putting out there. Now, the team that Nebraska had in the field September through November is not the team they're playing with.
Cry from a 7-5 squad today.
Absolutely. That's why we had the entire conversation in the first segment.
EJ's training right now and not carrying the football.
It's why we had the entire segment. The first segment here was asking the question, how much does this actually matter? And that's what's so hard to put your finger on is, listen, you're not playing with your 2025 team. Utah's not playing with their top 25 team. What I've seen, the consistent thread through bowl season so far this year is the better coached team puts together a good performance and tends to win. That's what I've seen typically so far this year whenever you're not playing with your best talent because they've either opted out or they're off to the transfer portal. That's what I've seen so far this year.
It's a true exhibition. It is a true exhibition. And it didn't always feel like that before. It felt like the culmination of the season or a prelude to the next. Mm-hmm. This doesn't feel like that. It feels like an exhibition where, hey, we got some guys that are on the team, right? We're going to dress them up and then you guys do the same. Let's go play ball in Vegas, right? It's different. We don't know if TJ Lateef is going to even be on the roster next year. We don't know if any of those guys are going to be on the roster.
He needs to be. You got to find a way.
I hope so.
To make sure that the investment and what I just like his mentality, right? I think there's some work to be done throwing the football. I like the fact the kid's not turned it over at all, which is remarkable. Mm-hmm. And I like his mobility. I need him to stay healthy if I'm a Nebraska fan.
Yeah,
but I like
throw the Iowa game out.
I like that vibe he brings, and he's what you want on your team with a difference-making position. And that's a guy who wants to compete and is about team and getting the win. That's all he cares about.
I had a little daydream kind of thing that, do you think there's a chance that Emmett is just kind of like slow playing everybody and this is some gamesmanship and he's actually going to dress and play today? Okay, maybe not. Okay, I was just having to dang it. How cool would that be, though? It'd be just like him, just like under the radar. It's gamesmanship. Like, lo and behold, here comes Emmett, and he's gonna do it one last time. I know that's not actually gonna happen.
He did one last time against Iowa.
How
he ran
cool would that
two
be?
Bills, and they scored 17 points.
Hey, I kind of want to see. This is what today, why it matters, I guess, is you get to see guys in a true game situation that you typically don't see. We have not seen Mekhi Nelson or Mosey very much. We've seen him in limited action, mainly against Akron and Houston Christian. But there have been a couple times when Mekhi Nelson gets the ball and he kind of pops, right? Like he's got some good acceleration, seems to run hard. You heard him in the press conference setting. He carries himself well. Like you've heard Rule, gush about him for a long time. So what does he look like with 20 touches? I don't know. Let's see. What does an offensive line look like hearing from somebody other than Donovan Raiola? That's all they've been hearing from. And I think we can all agree that the offensive line woefully underperformed. Is that all Raiola? Is that personnel? I think we'll get a little bit of an answer today.
Well, and that's
right.
That's a good way to kind of sum up how I feel about this, which are there elements of today that matter to me in my evaluation of the program? Yes. There's definitely
like
things I'm looking for. There's things I would like to see my evaluation of the program, but does the result today matter for what the future of Husker football is? No. Nebraska could lose by 70 today, and I don't think it would necessarily change Matt Rule's vision for the future of the program.
But are we deluding ourselves a little bit there about the outcome doesn't matter when truly the outcome, whatever the outcome is against whoever it is, I mean, we all freak out. Nebraska just runs it up on Akron. It's like, that vision for the offense that we've all been hearing about under Raiola, it is here, ladies and gentlemen. Look out, 50 points a game. Dana Holgerson, this thing is going to take off. It doesn't, right? Michigan wins by 3, and it's like DEFCON. Right? I don't know. I understand your point of just, what doesn't matter and should we worry about the outcome, but we will. If Nebraska loses by 70, like you were saying, it would be DEFCON. If Nebraska wins by a couple touchdowns, it's like, you know what? They finally got the coaching right, and these guys are going to make a big difference. Just wait until Chris Daughtry, that's what the guy looks like, Rob Orridge, defensive coordinator. Just wait till he gets his hands on those guys. And then when the portal opens, guys, we've never seen anything like what we're about to experience from the 2nd to the 16th. And the interesting thing about it is every single program is going to go through it at the exact same time. It is going to be the most intense 2 weeks of off-season college football in history. There has been, like, nobody knows after these bowl games who they have on their roster next year. Nobody.
Here's
no clue.
The reality, though. Like, Nebraska needs to be a lot closer to what Indiana has done than what they've been doing.
Yeah, Indiana screwed it up for everybody. But you know what it is, though, too? It feels
just to compete next year with the schedule.
Yeah. No, you're right. Listen, I feel like Signetti's done the best job of just at least being certain in what he wants to do.
He knows he's been doing it for 30 years, and he's been incredible at it.
Yeah, and if there's one thing about Rule that I'm not in love with right now is I feel like he changes it up a lot. I feel like he's I'm not sure that certain either he doesn't hold the right things sacred and it's too and kind of takes too long to let him go. Or he just changes things up too often. I feel like Signetti, I feel like everybody in that program knows exactly what's expected of them, period. And they execute at just a ridiculous level. However, I'll be real interested to see how they fare against Alabama.
I think they'll be fine. Now they're missing two
different level of talent.
I get it, but
different level. Different level, even more so. I mean, they're up there with Ohio State, if not higher.
They just beat Ohio State. They outslugged Ohio State.
I know.
Ohio State made a lot of mistakes in that game. That wasn't as though it was 27-7 or something that like Georgia put the whooping on Alabama in the SEC championship game.
Sure,
Ohio State had missed the field goal.
Teams with more talent than Indiana. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
but Indiana's got some. They hit the jackpot talent wise. No Dawson Merritt, no Isaiah Hunter today.
What?
For Nebraska.
Oh, God.
Just came down. So Merritt's been dealing with an ankle on and off. It sounds like Hunter's dealing with a hand.
Oh, Hunter's the one dude.
Can we accurately say Lindenmeyer? It's a Lindenmeyer day.
I agree with that. It should be. It was in the early part of the season.
And do these late opt-outs give you any sort of, with injuries, which is a little bit different, but does it give you any inclination into what the feeling is inside the team in terms of the importance of this game? Just throwing that out there. Where we only got about 30 seconds left this segment, but I think it tells you something. Whenever guys are playing through injuries during the year and they look at a bowl game and say, I'm going to start looking ahead to next year.
Or I'm taking that phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I want to see about 8 to 10 targets for Quinn Clark today.
Yes. There you go. Exactly. See, it's a personnel day. That's what today is. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like back in the mid 90s when it was who comes in the third quarter when Nebraska's up 50. It's a personnel.
Kraynak, appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, we'll holler next Saturday.
Let's overanalyze everything on Saturday. Godspeed.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Does it feel like someone is stabbing a knife into your heel? Or does your lower back give you problems as the day goes on? The Good Feet Store wants to help you like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet Store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. Now, thanks to the Good Feet Store, I'm 100%.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet Store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, my back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet Store. You gave me my active life back.
Learn more or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com and come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet Store. Visit the store at 27th and Pine Lake Road across from South Point Mall or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/investor day.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, plus get a $300 instant gift. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Another year of KFOR's Operation Santa Claus is finished, and it wouldn't have been possible without your generosity. Thanks to your support, we brought the magic of Christmas to less fortunate children in Lincoln. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our partners who work tirelessly behind the scenes to make it all happen. Local social service agencies for gathering the children's wishes. Hobbytown, Lincoln Children's Museum, and Shields for their help with toy shopping. Target, not only for assisting in shopping, but also for donating the sacks we use to organize the toys. The Clay Smith family for providing the North Pole facility to store and sort the toys. Brent Stellick of Bryant, Cott & Associates PCCPAs for managing Operation Santa finances. And most importantly, a very special thank you to the Nebraska National Guard volunteers for their incredible effort in sorting and distributing the toys. And finally, to everyone who donated, you are the true heroes of Operation Santa Claus. From all of us at KFOR, we wish you and your family a joyous holiday season.
When you choose new flooring, you don't want to wait for weeks or months to enjoy it. You want it installed right away. Hi, Steve Carper from O Street Carpet. We hear stories every day about long waits and installation charges way higher than necessary. When you choose O Street Carpet, we'll measure free, install right away, and at a much better price. Stop in, shop now. Proud to be Lincoln's choice for nearly 50 years.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street and ostreetcarpet.com.
Hello, I'm Rick.
And I'm Kim with Harley's Heating and Air.
At Harley's, our focus is on you, the customer.
If it's your goal to keep your system running at peak performance, try our service agreements.
Call Harley's or schedule online at harleysheatingandair.com.
There's no better place to be outdoors than in Nebraska. Hello, everybody. I'm Hershey from your Nebraska Game and Parks, and I get to serve as your guide each week as we seek adventures with the outdoor experts. So join me every Saturday morning at 9:45 for Outdoor Nebraska here on KFOR.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3, Lincoln. We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Back with you, Tower 2, Average Joe Sports Show, the pre-bowl extravaganza. That's Elijah Herbel, Chris Schmidt, the pride of Fairbury, Bill Doleman. We're going to be heading to Vegas on site here shortly and get caught up with Arden Lockheim. She's doing the play-by-play today for the campus station, KRNU. Bill, a student of yours, man. Got to be excited. Any reports back from the masses? You know Vegas well, brother, between working for the Knights of the NHL and all the years in the Mountain West.
And all that time at the blackjack table.
Bill was asked to not return because Bill had the old Rain Man suite, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's me. I'd probably spent a year of my life out in Las Vegas, believe it or not. And hopefully my connection is good because I'm getting those Star Trek beam me up vibes on my feed. But no, I'm really excited.
Bill Doleman.
I'm really excited right now. Arden Lockheim is one of my star students, and I'm fortunate to have many of them. But she called our broadcast to Nebraska, Wisconsin last year when Nebraska won the game and went qualified for a bowl game. And she's just a really talented broadcaster. Her dad happens to be David Locke, who is the longtime voice of the Utah Jazz of the NBA. And so Arden was going, and she's from Salt Lake City. So there's a real synergy here with this, that Nebraska's playing in Vegas. They're playing a team from Utah. It's in her backyard. She said, hey, would it be okay if I call the bowl game? And I'm like, I don't have a problem with it, but I just don't have a color commentator, another student who's going out there that you could work with. And so we got to talk a little bit more. And she says, well, how about my dad? Ha, ha, ha. Well, like I said, Dad's a voice of the Utah Jazz of the NBA. And we made it work. The Jazz played this. What I love about this, the Jazz played the Boston Celtics last night. Tomorrow they play the Los Angeles Lakers, two of the most iconic franchises in professional sports. And in between, Dad is having a father-daughter moment, calling the Las Vegas Bowl with his talented daughter Arden. And thanks to the Las Vegas Bowl for agreeing to credential him. And he's going to be your color commentator today. I think it's a great story. She's great. Now, Dad did not send me a reel so that I could, go through it and qualify him. I'm going to trust her instincts.
Are you going to be evaluating his performance? You getting out the red pin for that?
not so much his as hers. And the other cool thing about this, the cherry on this, is Arden is also a member of the Nebraska women's golf team. She's the Utah State Amateur Women's Golf Champion from last summer. And she's been playing in a golf tournament in Phoenix the last couple of days. Well, to get around from A to B to C, her mom has been driving her. Mom drove her from Phoenix to Las Vegas last night. Mom happens to be a former sports reporter herself of the highest level. Network quality. She worked for King 5 TV and was the sideline reporter for the Seattle Seahawks for many years. And that's where she and Arden's dad met. And so Mom, I called out, and the Las Vegas Bowl credentialed her, and she's going to be their statistician in the booth. So the Lockheim family, minus her brother, will be in the booth for KRNU calling the Las Vegas Bowl today. I could not be happier for that family. And I'm telling you, she's a rock star. She will be a major network personality at some point and very, very soon. So I'm excited about this for them and excited about it for our station. And I'm glad right now she's meeting with the media. she's had a couple of media obligations because they've heard about the story too.
So what's the poor brother up to today?
I want. Well, will she be my golf partner next time we go play, Bill?
The average Joe golf scramble for the Cornhusker State games. We're signing her up, whether she likes it or not.
I said I'll help you become a better broadcaster, but you got to help my short game. So that hasn't happened yet. Yeah, and just along those lines of other things that we're doing with KRNU, Sam Hoiberg will be making his debut for us here in a couple of weeks on some women's basketball. And if all goes well, he may be on the air with you someday soon too.
Awesome, man. Let's talk about the underdog mentality for a moment, right? Nebraska, and that was some early words from Matt Rule's final presser yesterday. And the mind games, right? They can play an important part. Bill, you touched on that with where is Utah? Where is Utah at right now with their coach in waiting, now coach in for real time? With Nebraska, there's been a bunch of shifting. I think we all kind of like what Jeep Wade has said and what he's done and how he reset himself back when he went to App State post-COVID. That really honed his recruiting skills and development ability. Then he got the jump to Georgia Tech. They've been good. That's one hire. Teasley is another guy that has had really good prowess at finding talent on the offensive line, SEC caliber talent. But the underdog part is real, and Nebraska, I think, will and can embrace that. Can you go play free? We've talked about it before the top of the hour break. Will Nebraska go out and let it all hang out? Will you take the training wheels off Latif? And that also kind of gets me smiling if I'm a Nebraska fan, because we know how creative Dana Holgerson can be. I think there's been times this year where you haven't seen Dana do Dana things. I think you've probably even felt an obligation before the former quarterback at the transfer portal to continue to try and showcase him a little bit. I mean, right? We've seen ball games where the game plan that worked and when Nebraska won was to start out, get the ground game established, and then do some play action or some RPO. And then I think the most comfortable you saw in Nebraska, their offensive coordinator, and the offense truly was that UCLA game where it was kind of hitting on all cylinders. Fellas, it's supposed to set up this way. It's supposed to be a bit of a shootout today. Both defenses have been bludgeoned from time to time. We just don't know how full strength you're going to have to be to take advantage of that.
Speaking of defenses, Morgan Scalley is their defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to be coordinating the game today. And instead, over the last, 10 days, he's had to transition into being the guy who is not just coaching anymore, but handling all of the head coaching duties, the press conferences, the meet and greets, taking over whatever was on Kyle Whittingham's to-do list. And this is the first go-around for him for all of that. So that doesn't mean that Utah is without defensive coaches, but he's been distracted. So who is coordinating their defense against the Nebraska offense that really, as you say, probably showcased its best with TJ Latif against UCLA? Will they do what Penn State did? Are they capable of doing that? I think Nebraska's effort would be better than it was against Penn State. TJ Latif was limited in the Iowa game. That's not an excuse for what the final score ended up being. But who's handling the Utah defense? At what point did Morgan Scalley have to say, hey, I'm going to be busy, guys. I need three of you guys to handle this, and puts it off.
Delegating.
Yeah, I mean, how much did he delegate, and how much were other guys like all of a sudden they got to step up? So the organization on the defensive side of the ball for Utah has probably been fractured a little bit. Now, is that going to make a big difference in the game? Who knows? But it certainly, I don't think, hurts Nebraska.
You'll take it. You'll take any advantage, any assistance you can get. Full strength, half strength, reshuffle deck, whatever the case. But go at it today with the intent of, all right, you're known right now. You're known is Evans on the offensive line, right, and TJ Lateef. You know what you got at tight end, and you know what you got in Dane Key. You don't know fully what you're going to have at running back. You don't know about the other offensive line spots aside from Pritchett as well. And have at it. And who's going to help carry the weight today? You can't and don't want to put it all on Lateef. Just have him go play free and go make some plays. But you're going to get Barney involved, presumably. Are you going to find Lindenmeyer as a safe spot in the flat? And then who does what with this committee in the running game? I mean, there's a reason Dana's not ran the ball with him. Two reasons. One, Emmett surged and was great. Two, he didn't like, as he said at times this year, didn't like how it looked, didn't like how it felt. They've had 2 weeks to get the eyesight adjusted, at least better viewing from what the practice looked like. So Mosey's a guy, I think you could see 2 backs. I don't know how trickery plays into today, but let's let Lateef do some RPOs. Let's let Lateef just, even if he's on a half roll, get out there and make it look like UCLA.
Well, it's essentially his audition for the 2026 job.
Is
there going to be more with spring practice in fall? Absolutely. But this is your chance to say you had a great performance against UCLA. You were all right against Penn State. And then I know there's an injury in there, but you weren't great against Iowa. What have you learned from your 3 starts? What can you translate over to the field? And it's something that I said in the stream chat that I'd like to make clear on the air. The expectations internally with this team, I think, are and should be different than what we, the media, are talking about, what the fan base should be talking about. The team should go in expecting to win this football game. You need to have a team full of 22 guys, I mean, even more than that, considering special teams, that are going out there and understanding this is your audition for your spot on the 2026 Husker team. It's your chance to audition maybe for the transfer portal, whatever it may be. Maybe it's one last look for the NFL scouts before you go off to your pre-draft process. Whatever it may be, you need 100% effort from the guys. You need a full expectation, a belief that you're going to win this football game. That being said, the external understanding and expectation for the fan base and for the media should be, this is a shorthanded football team. Mm-hmm. Should that affect the team's internal mentality going into this football game? Absolutely not. Externally, does it change how I evaluate the performance today? Yes, absolutely. That's where I'm at with this game is you should expect some of these guys, the Lateefs of the world, whatever offensive linemen haven't gotten much run out, the guys on that defensive side of the ball that haven't played much, the running back room, they should go on understanding, hey, 100% effort, this is your audition. But we can understand the running back room, it's going to be shorthanded today. You don't have Emmett Johnson. He was your best offensive player all year long. Does that change how the offense performs? Probably. Do I want it to change how this team goes out and gives effort and attempts to execute and does execute? I don't think it should.
Been waiting all year for your chance to carry the football more than 4 times in a game because Emmett's carried it or touched the last 17 plays. Go make some hay. Know what you're supposed to do, and don't worry about getting yanked. That said, I mean there were clearly comfort levels not reached by the backup backs because of what you had so good in Emmett Johnson. Back to your Iowa thought on the game plan, it was going to be a heavy dose of legs for Lateef against Iowa. You just get your hamstring blown up. You have to turn into a pocket guy. It can't be TJ dropping back 38 times. It can't be even close to 30. It's got to be a nice mix, and then just make it simple. Keep it simple. Do the routine. Right? You've heard that from the beginning. So that's one thing here when we talk about Nebraska and that underdog mentality, that allows you to just kind of go play with house money to keep the Vegas theme we've touched on the running back committee, who do you think shines in that running back room today? Is it Mosey for you? Do you like Mekhi Nelson? Do you see Williams? You've got Ives that they've talked up or touched on a couple times here and there. I think they're going to give every opportunity to Mosey to do his best McCaffrey impersonation.
And I think the 1-2 punch is going to be Mosey and Nelson. I would like to see a little bit of Kenneth Walker.
Yeah,
I know he doesn't.
I said Williams, forgive me.
Oh, sorry, Kenneth. No, you're right. Kenneth Williams. Kenneth Walker plays for the Seahawks. Excuse me.
And he was a portal grab.
He was great. He was great. Don't get me wrong. But with Williams, I know he's been a great returner this year. He doesn't see himself as just a returner in this program moving forward. That's a guy you talk about where you mention opportunity. These bowl practices and potentially getting a couple carries in a game like today, that's the type of opportunity you're talking about with your audition for being a player in that running back room next year. Your starter, maybe not, but a guy that can get some carries. Hey, you've shown what you can do on special teams. And how many guys through the history of Husker football have, before they've shown themselves as a regular contributor offensively or defensively, shown themselves to first be a weapon on special teams? So many. Amir Abdullah, he made his first statement as a special teamer. You look at he made the catch against Michigan State in the end zone, Taylor Martinez year. Originally a quarterback. Jamal
Turner.
Jamal Turner made his impact on special teams first.
Briefly.
Okay, Eric Martin made his debut on special teams
and almost went to jail in Stillwater.
I still love that play. But it's been a consistent theme for guys that you first make plays on special teams and you get your opportunity offensively or defensively. And that's what I kind of want to see from a guy like him today. Does he get carries? I don't know, but I'd like to see it.
Okay, how about this? Who gets more carries today? Is it Latif, or is there a running back who gets more carries? And I mean by design. It's entirely possible Latif drops back and then is forced to scramble. Okay, and that's a pass called turns into a run. But does the quarterback have 15 to 20 carries today, and this running back by committee means that they all get 5 to 8, or do they protect Latif? I'm curious as to how significant the hamstring injury was and how much it has healed up in the 4-week period of time. It doesn't sound like he's been full speed until really the last couple of days, really. I mean, and they say, well, now he's ready to go. Well, how long are you?
Where he gets carried around? I mean, did it blow up, fall off the bone? I mean,
right. Is this an offense that Dana Holgorsen, we've talked about it before. This is the offense. This is the kind of quarterback that he's wanted to have. And I believe that, by the way. You know what? We have not mentioned the other quarterback at all.
Grahamstad?
Granddad?
the one who's the one
Marcos?
with the offense was designed around for for 8-9 games this year.
The one whose name shall not be mentioned until Brady is etched off the stadium.
Right. So, Dana Holgorsen had a couple of weeks to implement an offense to get it ready for UCLA. Didn't work that well against Penn State. Iowa, he's limited because of the injury early on. Is this Holgorsen's offense with a quarterback that he really wants to utilize the mobility that we think that, or we've been told that he has now that he's over the injury? Is this an offense that is really, truly designed around a mobile RPO type quarterback, or is it still somewhat of a stilted playbook that was, let's face it, it was so limited with what they could do with a quarterback who just cannot and did not want to run?
Well, the other side of that coin is if Latif is not able to move around, you can't reenact the Iowa game and just make him, you can't move forward offensively if you're really trying to go win this game without the dual part of that threat. As a drop back passer only, the kid was 9 of 24. He had some nice third down throws, but there were open receivers he missed. There were plays his receivers didn't make as well. So it's not all on him, but you do have a guy that's still a bit of a work in progress as a pure thrower.
And if anyone was wondering here, while we're talking quarterbacks, Jeff Sims just runs it in the Tony the Tiger Bowl for Arizona State. So that's a touchdown on the board for Sims.
He's great.
That was well done. I set you up for that one a little bit. Didn't even mean to.
How about old Iowa, Jackhammer and Pavia and Vandy, 21-10. Iowa. Just, I sent a note to Iowa Russ and said, dude, there's a contingent of Nebraska fans who are going to root for Iowa today because they don't like Pavia.
Here's the thing with that game is the tide might be turning. Vandy with a long touchdown. They just got a 3-and-out against Iowa. They got the ball back. Tide might be turning, but I predicted an Iowa victory in that football game. Maybe not officially on the air, but Vanderbilt hasn't really beat anyone this year that has strong lines of
code
scrimmage.
For Elijah went to the sports book.
I wish. I feel a lot better about myself right now if I had gone to the sports book with that pick, but that's not necessarily a surprise. The SEC has been rough in the bowl season thus far, and again, Vanderbilt against solid lines of scrimmage this year hasn't looked great. Now, I'm going to say this on the air, and here comes the Vandy comeback, and they're going to win this football game in the fourth quarter, probably now that I've thrown it out into the ether. But
it's jinxed.
But hey, Big Ten play, it's all about coaching, lines of scrimmage, and those are the two things in bowl season that have shown themselves over the past week and a half or so to be the difference makers in these bowl games where it's not your 2025 team. How are your lines of scrimmage? How is your coaching? And if it comes down to that for Nebraska today, how do you feel about Nebraska's chances? If it comes down to coaching and lines of scrimmage. I mean, Illinois last night, their victory against Tennessee.
It's coaching
and lines of scrimmage. Iowa's right now has a lead against Vanderbilt because of coaching and lines of scrimmage.
I don't like Nebraska's matchup either side right now. It's nice that Jeep Wade's been on site for a couple of weeks, but it's not been a couple of years. It's nice that Matt Rule's helped out with the defensive line for a couple of weeks, but you need to be back to the personnel and the fervor you played with under Pot Roast. He motivated them. Didn't know what he did during team meetings. Maybe showed a movie. I don't know, but
maybe.
but they played well, and you averaged under 3 a carry. Okay,
it's like Dead Week in Bill Doleman's class. You might be watching a movie, but you're going to perform well in finals week.
Film strips.
No, I think Utah's lines of scrimmage are still intact. And I'll say this. Don't you feel better about Utah's number 2s at offensive tackle than where Nebraska's number 2s or 3s are at from a development standpoint? I mean, you've been waiting on a lot of names, and you have 125 guys that are sophomores or younger. They've been getting watered. All right, you're at the end of year 2, you're at the end of year 3 after a full season or 2 or 3 of winter conditioning, spring ball, summer workouts, fall camp. You've had 8 to 10 of those or more. Where are you at, and what's your talent level at right now? How close to touching the ceiling are you and ready to play and contribute and be a difference maker, whether you're making your first start or it's your 5th snap ever? What truly do you look like as a developmental program? Utah looks great. They've looked great. They've just kind of plugged and played when they've lost guys to the NFL from their front 7 or their offensive line.
Look, you're giving guys an opportunity today on the offensive line. You've got a new coach in there who's been there for 3 weeks. Okay, not a ton of time by any stretch. But there have been so many younger players that we've talked about over the last couple of years. Where are they in the development? Where are they in the world, for Pete's sakes? You know, what milk carton are some of these guys on when people are all jacked about them, signing the dotted line on signing day, and they're really nowhere to be found? Bricks, Knudsen, Sledge, Tamua, Machacek, Torres. Look, you got a new guy coming in 3 weeks ago, presumably saying, impress me. Let me see what you got. Well, they've given him 3 weeks to let them see what they got, and maybe you will see some guys on the field today who are going to take advantage of that, who have been taking advantage of the door that's open, the door of opportunity that the new coach has given them. Maybe they have felt in the past, 2 years or 6 months or whatever, like they've got their guys, and unless somebody's getting hurt, I'm not going to get my chance. I'm not feeling developed. They've got a new opportunity. And I said this early at the beginning of the show, this is like spring football right now. Mm-hmm. So this is your opportunity to seize playing time today and establish yourself for whatever spring football is going to look like and impress the new boss so that when it comes time to line up against Ohio in September, I've put myself in a position with what I have done the last 2 or 3 weeks to go play. So I think you're going to find out who has the heart, the head, and the motivation, the wherewithal to take advantage of whatever opportunity Jeep Wade is going to give them. Impress me, boys. You've got 3 weeks to do it, and today's the culmination of that.
And 2 years is kind of the ticking clock on whether or not can the kid play or not. Can the kid play? What progress has he shown to contributing?
Well, in lines of scrimmage one place, I think it's 3 years.
Fair.
3 years. Fair. Everywhere else on the football field, you have 2 years to get on the football field. If you're not on the football field by the end of a redshirt freshman season, contributing in some way, shape, or forms, offense, defense, or special teams, I think
you need to be playing at some point on the lines, though, by a redshirt sophomore.
Yes. By the time you're into year 3, you need to be playing the lines of scrimmage. If you're going to be a key contributor for the program, a guy you can build around for the future. Agreed 100%. Mm-hmm. So it's the reality of college football is, I know you want to be old in the lines of scrimmage. You need to show yourself to be a contributor in today's day and age of college football within the first 3 years, because they're going to go find somebody in the transfer portal.
No, that's totally agreed. We'll get.
Or at least they're going to try to find somebody in the portal.
We'll get the official Big Ten availability before we take a quick timeout. Catch up with Brandon Vogel. So Singleton is out. Demetrius Bell, McCullough, Emmett, Dawson, Merritt, Rocco, Spindler, Julian Marks, Tyson Terry, Gunnar Gatula, Jeremiah Jones out. And a lot of that is crossover from guys that are out for the season. Isaiah Hunter, Rowdy Bauer, Jackson Carpenter, or those are the 3 that are questionable. So we'll see if Hunter gives it a go or not. Quick timeout, final 30 minutes here of the Average Joe Sports Show pregame edition here, Nebraska, Utah, and the Vegas Bowl. Back with more, and we'll check in. Brandon Vogel on the way with KFOR.
Live, local, in our community. The KFOR Sportscasters Club has long been a supporter of young athletes and academics in Lincoln and Lancaster County. Follow your favorite team on air and online at KFORnow.com. Powered by Slim Chickens and Bison Inc. Stay connected to Lincoln and Lancaster County High School athletics on FM 101.5, 1240 AM KFOR.
The Legacy Retirement Communities invite you to enjoy the independence, comfort, and peace of mind they offer in their own special way at all of their locations. Connect with others, enjoy fabulous food, educational programs, fitness centers, and more. The Legacy communities are filled with movers and doers who embrace every stage of life, giving you the opportunity to live each day enriched and grateful. For a tour, call 402-436-3000 or visit legacyretirement.com.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to to connect and care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/investor day.
10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness that will push past physical and mental breaking points. You are the fittest of the fit. Only one of you will leave here with an iFit contract for $250,000.
This is when mindset comes in.
Someone will be eliminated.
Pressure is coming down.
Trainer Games on Prime Video January 8th. Watch the trailer on trainergames.com.
KFOR. We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Back at it, Average Joe Sports Show Bowl preview as Elijah Herbel here and Bill Doleman. Appreciate Gilly Sharp, the Iron Horse, for popping by. Mark Kraynak with us. And we'll be ready to react. Real Red Reaction follows Nebraska, Utah right here on KFOR, KFORnow.com. So check that out, 6-ish or so, 90 minutes on air and then beyond. Should there be a celebratory or just more gnashing of teeth?
Real quick, well, I can. Yeah. Arden Lockheim is doing her due diligence to connect from Allegiant Stadium to our KRNU studios. Hopefully she'll join us. If not, she's busy.
Oh, I get it. Totally
I gave her the best duct tape, paper clips, super glue we have at the CoJMC, but duty calls first before joining the shows.
Absolutely. Gotta connect for sure. But good for her. And her dad doing the game today. I like it. We'll hear from Brandon Vogel in a moment or two. We'll check in with Cowder Reed's Brandon Vogel. So Captain is feeling it. He has gone money line on Nebraska. Good enough. He got 16.5. Isaiah Hutter in street clothes. No good. Frank Roman says, I just put 500 on the money line. Forget about it, is what Frank says. Doleman, where's the place we went to? It's weird to start the year in Vegas like we did for Big Ten Media Days and end the year like we're doing Vegas for Nebraska. What's the old Tarkadian gangster restaurant you took me to and you made me sit in the back booth?
Piero's.
Piero's,
yeah. I sat with my back to the wall.
Yeah. You had your back towards the wall. I was you were Michael Corleone and I was the Carbazzi, or whatever the guy's name is.
I was going to say, sitting with your back towards the wall doesn't mean nothing if you hide a gun behind the toilet.
But I got nervous because Bill asked if he could get up and go to the restroom during dinner.
Best restaurant in Vegas is Piero's. So if we had gone to the game, we would have been there.
Speaking of mafia movies in Vegas, is anyone getting taken to the cornfield today, a la Casino?
Ooh, good call. Yeah. I don't know.
Was it Frank? No, who was it? Who was the guy who got whacked in the cornfield?
Frank Vincent's character.
Yeah.
Was the one who did the whacking. We'll bring in Brandon Vogel. We're talking Casino, Vegas, cornfield. Vogues, anyone going to the cornfield today?
Any baseball bat?
Hopefully not. I mean, he's the thing I've struggled with all bowl season is that, to borrow a soccer term, so many of these games feel like friendlies now, which is that we watch because there's a limited supply and it's great. And watching football on TV is still tough to beat. But it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of stakes. So if somebody gets whacked off of this game, something went drastically wrong, in my opinion.
Well, what we've kind of called it here today, Brandon, is the ultimate exhibition, where the team actually, there should be some care to go out and perform well today. But with the players that you have on the field, it does feel more like a spring game. But instead of being a spring game against your own team, it's a team wearing another color. It's another opportunity in front of you, and the care level should be there. So it's kind of like the ultimate exhibition game. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, I would agree. And I hope the players have that, not to get philosophical here on the last day of the year, but like when you I think about this all the time, like just what it takes to put a football game on. Like you got 100 guys on each side. You got a chain gang, you got officials, the whole thing, like people hauling equipment to the games, like to be able to play a football game. Like you couldn't do it as a kid. Like, you could call your friends and you'd all put on your plastic football pads and you'd try and do it. But like the actual opportunity to do this is extremely limited. So from that point of view, I do hope these teams are invested in this game. Even if I have a trouble finding it myself from a pure spectator standpoint.
It seems like the longer the games go and the closer they are, that all of a sudden the competitiveness kicks in. As I've watched, look, and I'm not like I did in the old days where they were marked on my calendar, but I've watched as many bowl games as I could this year. And it seems like there is the exhibition mentality when it begins. But if the game is close at half, that the competitiveness kicks in a little bit. And there's some urgency. Even if there's, friends and family only, like the Birmingham Bowl, that are in the stands, there's still something competitive. Last night's Tennessee and Illinois game had that element. I think it was 21-7, wasn't it? Illinois had or something. I mean, it looked like they were going to boat race Tennessee. Then Tennessee got, a couple of nice plays, and all of a sudden it's competitive. In the second half, it was like, wow, this is a great game between two really good teams in power conferences, and it comes down to a field goal at the end. And if things get, stay relatively close, and I go back to Utah's mentality with their coach being gone, the circumstances around that, the fractured nature of their defensive preparation with that guy taking over. If Nebraska hangs around and it's a close game at halftime, maybe there's a little belief and competitiveness that kicks in. And it's not just a fun trip to Vegas and going to the Sphere and the West Side Story dance-off all of a sudden kind of fades into the background, and you actually have a pretty decent football game in the second half. Now, if it's 14-0 in the first quarter, forget about it. Then you're looking for cornfields. And by the way, I had a cab driver in Vegas once tell me, Casino is a documentary. If you want to know what Vegas was like back in the day, watch Casino. It's a documentary, the guy told me.
Did he say it like that too?
Yeah. He was from Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh. That's what he told you.
He told me that. But before he was a taxi driver, did he work in waste management collection?
They told me a lot of stories. It was the best cab driver of my life.
It's super important to hang around if you're Nebraska. Vogues, how, and I'm going to ask you this. We were talking lines of scrimmage today, and with the Huskers, has time been able to heal? Will time have been able to heal Nebraska's run defense this afternoon?
Well, time heals all wounds, right, Schmidt?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I think maybe, like, we'll see. This Utah offense, certainly, you know what you're getting there, and they're without two NFL players on the offensive line. Still got their quarterback, who was their second leading rusher. Still have their leading running back, who led the team in rushing. But when you think about run defense, and I think this is an area where this being a bowl game helps you. You got the long prep with Phil Snow, whatever that looks like. But a lot of run defense, particularly in a one game setting, I think comes down to like effort and want to be there. And those are things you can address, I think, presumably. And if that doesn't transpire for Nebraska, be a little bit disappointing on that front. But yeah, like if you come out and you're ready to hit, I mean, I really liked Bill's point there that, like, I think what you're hoping for with any bowl game is to get to the point where it becomes somewhat instinctual, where it's just like, oh, we're playing a football game. And we're here, might as well go try and win it. And so you hope. Well, I'm always a big fan of like wackiness in bowl games. Like, give me all the trick plays, give me some wild special teams stuff. You hope that doesn't happen early, because if it is competitive, I think Nebraska has an opportunity, because you would expect, after the way they finished the season, you get a reset at defensive coordinator, moving to Phil Snow in terms of preparation, that you can come out and be like, all right, guys, it's just like, it's about want to. How much do you want to be here? How much do you want to try and win this game? How much do you want to change the narrative that was there at the end of the season? And in that regard, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Nebraska did look better against the run than it had for most of 2025.
Isn't it kind of interesting how this conversation has changed? Because I'm with you. There is a difference to me between the internal expectations for what this team should expect going in and what the media and the fans should expect going into this game, where, yes, the fans, rightfully, you should expect this team to be shorthanded. But the team, I mean, you got to go out there with that will to win, understanding you could be auditioning for a roster spot next season. There's kind of a dichotomy between the internal and the external expectations for this game. But isn't it kind of interesting to see how the narrative has changed on bowl games from 2 or 3 seasons ago for Husker fans as compared to what it is this year?
It is. And I mean, I find myself like it's changed a bunch for me. I've never been a there's too many bowl games guy, although there probably are. Like, I watched them all. But it's just, as things have kind of stacked up, as the sport has changed, you just look at it and on, today's the day we say Happy New Year, and tomorrow, Friday, is the day we say Happy New Team. And it feels like that's drastically more important in a college football perspective than whatever happens prior to that. And that's been a tough feeling for me to shake. So in terms of the narrative of it, like, what's at stake for Nebraska here? Well, if they should win, they would get to remove that 0-29 against ranked teams note from all future broadcasts in 2026, which would be nice for Nebraska. But for the most part, it kind of feels like there's not a ton here beyond like 5-6 years from now, when we're all looking back at 2025. 8-5 sure seems like a better record than 7-6 does. So it's just it's been a weird spot in terms of bowl games this year in particular. I feel, at least that's been my experience.
Vogues, what do you foresee today with TJ Lateef, Dana Holgerson? Is it a cut it loose ball game? Is it more UCLA, less third quarter USC?
Yeah, I think they'll probably start trying to replicate a bit of UCLA. The key to that will be, do they have a running back who's going to supplement what they want to do to be able to do that? And they don't have somebody who's going to do what Emmett Johnson did, I don't think, against the Bruins. So that kind of becomes the first hurdle, I think, offensively for Nebraska. And then if you're not having a ton of success with the handoff run game, maybe you try to get Lateef a little bit more involved. But that might be the point where it comes to cut it loose a little bit, and you might see those passing attempts climb. And I'm kind of interested in it either way, but it's a little bit of a mystery in terms of just not knowing. Like, we know Lateef's a full go, he's back, he's running in practice, all that stuff, but where he's actually at adds a little bit of a wrinkle to this whole thing.
One thing we don't talk about much with the transfer portal, as I'm thinking about it, there are a lot of guys who are playing to avoid it. And it kind of goes back to the, talking about the offensive line. Who's going to take advantage of opportunity given to them? Who in that running back room is going to take advantage of whatever carries they're given today? Because let's face it, people, teams and fans, whatever, they worry about who's going into the portal. I'm looking in the chat. Oh, Isaiah Hunter's not playing. He's going into the portal. That might well be. But there are guys who like being Nebraska football players and all of the amenities that go with that don't want to be asked on tomorrow night before midnight. We don't have a spot for you. We didn't see talk. We did. Yeah. We bring your playbook. Coach wants to see you. You know, there's going to be, not just at Nebraska, there are going to be hard knocks conversations had with players. It's not like the old days where we can have 185 guys on the roster. It's 105. And who, over the course of this spring practice session that I've talked about, who's taken advantage of it? Who has shown? Who has proven that I've got a new defensive coordinator, or I've got a new offensive line coach, or I've got somebody, you know, I have a chance to impress, who's going to say, you know what, I think we ought to keep him around. Who was the player last year at this time that, you know, Matt Rule was singing the praises of, you know, special teams guy, that we got to have guys like that on the roster. Well, who is that they're going to reserve 101, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for players who you got to have in a program because they're culture guys who will bust their ass on special teams. And if there have been guys over the last 2-3 weeks that have just kind of mailed it in, it's entirely possible they might say, you know what, we appreciate your time here at the University of Nebraska, but there are probably some FCS or lower schools that will utilize your services better. And now all of a sudden you're on the grounds crew rolling the tarp out when the rain comes. And you don't have a coach for every player on staff like you do at Nebraska in sleep pods. So if you want to compete and you want to stay where you are, you want to make sure that you play your ass off today so that the Turk doesn't come tomorrow.
This game to me, and I know it's a different era, it's a different time. There's money to fix, right? Assuming you spend the money wisely on the right player or position group that can help get you over the hump. But from a momentum standpoint, I still am momentum's trying to leave. And I'm wrapped around the leg as you know, Dad's heading out the door. And it reminds me of the Alamo Bowl against Michigan, team that was a playoff team or should have been a Rose Bowl team, 05, right? And that Michigan team underachieved. I think all they did that year was beat Penn State. Otherwise, it was a pretty underwhelming year. That's not Utah, but they're still 10-2, and they missed out. They got beat by BYU. They got beat by Tech. And Nebraska was a double-digit dog in that game. And Zach Taylor and the crew fought and found a way and won that thing 32-28. And then 06 was a season that was a lot better. You were pretty much right around the top 25 for most of it. Played well. It gave you some momentum. Now, things could all shift, but I see a parallel in today's opportunity for Nebraska from a quarterback standpoint, from a guys you want to keep on the roster. And then I go back to the changing of conversation, because even if you get beat by 2 or 3 touchdowns today, it's going to look a lot like if you do go down. It's going to look a lot like the Iowa or the Penn State game. That can't be. Now you get beat on a walk-off field goal, or they make one more play than you. Wonderful. You're in it till the end against a team that's better physically on paper and better physically with their 2 deep or their 3 deep, despite this coaching situation. Vogues, do you agree with that at all from a springboard in a uncertain era? Or is it just all bets are off, pun intended, just clear the board anyway here in a week?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the springboard part of it, but I think you're spot on in terms of changing the narrative. Like the best thing going for Nebraska in this game is that it is a 2-touchdown underdog, and they have not performed well historically beyond just the Rule era in that spot. Like, you can look back at all of the regular season games where, you know, everything's normal and you're not dealing with all of these bowl complications, and just been like when's Nebraska just going to like go out and do it? Go out and beat somebody that they shouldn't beat. And yeah, okay, if we want to say, well, it's a bowl game and you gotta adjust for that. Oh, all right, let's take Utah down to a 10-point favorite or whatever might be fair. Like it'd probably be tough to get below that based on what the teams showed during the regular season. That matters, and I think that's useful context for this game. And bringing up that Alamo Bowl, I think is a really good way to view it. Of like, yeah, it was bowl games were different then, slightly, but it was still a chance for Nebraska. It's like you got no reason to win this game, just like go do it anyway. And that's kind of, I think, the best thing Nebraska could show today. And yeah, it provides a little bit of easy dots to connect of, okay, you're not talking about, well, 7-6 plus 7-6. Like everybody in Nebraska has already processed that 2025 wasn't the massive jump forward that everyone was hoping for year 3. But just in terms of being able to point to, well, the win total has continued to increase, is worth at least something when it comes, May, June, and you're reading college football preview magazines.
Brandon Vogel with us here. And Brandon, we got about 5 minutes left here. So I do need to ask, if Nebraska does go out there and pull the underdog, they win it, or they at least play competitively and lose a tight one, who does it come down to in your eyes in terms of guys going out there, stepping up, maybe playing beyond what Vegas expects them, playing beyond what we, the media, think that they can go out and provide?
Yeah. That's a tough one. I mean, the easy answer is probably Latif. Like, there's more on his shoulders without Emmett Johnson, of course, but defensively, I kind of look towards the linebacker group, and we know Nebraska's without Deshaun Singleton. In the secondary, in terms of how Nebraska uses its safeties to help in run support, and it kind of goes back to talking about a lot of run defense is just kind of want to and effort. I think that kind of back seven group might be really key in terms of can you limit this Utah offense? Can you avoid giving up big plays? Can you tackle well? If that group, that back seven group plays really well, I think that's probably the shortest path for Nebraska sticking in this game. And then you're going to need a couple plays from your quarterback, or if one of the running backs is able to spring a big one, something along those lines. All of a sudden you're in a fourth quarter game with probably a pretty good chance to win.
Vogues, get me a prediction, or have you made one yet?
I haven't made one yet. The calendar's been all crazy, and just the craziness of bowl game. Like, I do expect Nebraska to be in this game. I think they'll come out, and in some ways they're the team dealing with slightly fewer complications, beyond the normal complication of like we're in Las Vegas and all of the stuff you guys mentioned, the showgirls and flying down Fremont Street and whatever else has happened. And now it's like, oh, hey, go play football today, just like you would on a normal Saturday. Always strange when it comes to bowl games. But I think Nebraska, its head coach didn't show up on day one of bowl arrival and then say, I'm going to Michigan. So it's got that going for it. So in terms of like effort and kind of motivation, might be slight edge there, Nebraska. So I would expect them to hang in. This Utah team, I think, is really good. And I think the foundation that Kyle Whittingham built over 2 decades is strong enough that they're still a pretty deserving favorite. So I'd be at Utah 30, Nebraska 24.
Is it going to be casino or showgirls for the Big Red tonight? Right? There is. So, Vogues, tell us about Counter Read. How can folks get signed up? And you got a chat rocking.
Yeah, just launched our game day chat for the last time in 2025. So our subscribers can head over there and get clicked into that, where we'll be chatting all things during the game. I'll have a reaction from this game / some sort of portal preview. I don't know. There's a lot going on for tomorrow's newsletter. And then Aaron will have your Friday newsletter as usual. Kind of reads a twice weekly newsletter, meaning if you're a paid subscriber, you get 2 exclusives. If you're a free subscriber, you also get two newsletters and the opportunity to take at least a peek at what those paying subscribers are getting. So head over to counterread.com. We finished 2025 on a strong note. So looking forward to 2026 in terms of providing people, I think, some unique coverage of Nebraska athletics.
Vogues, appreciate you at Brandon L. Vogel on Twitter, counterread.com. We'll holler this weekend. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year if I don't holler tomorrow.
Happy New Year, guys.
There he is, Brandon Vogel with us. Some final thoughts. You got a score prediction?
I think I'm with Brandon. I think Nebraska comes out with some intensity. I think they have some players that want to step up to the spotlight that they'll be in and show something for next season. But I think the body blows of Utah will be too much, particularly in the second half. Might be a game Nebraska even leads at halftime, but I got Utah winning this football game 31-21.
Say Utah 34-28. Pride of Fairbury, what say you?
So we're both on a cover.
Yeah.
Well, I think, look, the basketball team beat New Hampshire last night, 86-53. I think the football team wants to prove that this is still a football school, so I'll go 87-53. Nebraska one-ups the men's basketball team today, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. Maybe an offensive shootout, something along those lines. I think that's legit.
Maybe if Sam Hoiberg plays tonight.
I think so. Bill, we'll talk after the ball game with some Real Red reaction right here on KFOR.
Absolutely. And Arden says that she might be able to join us then. So that'd be fun to have her then too.
Perfect. All right. Real Red reaction on KFOR after Nebraska. Take care.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow.